Welcome to another Introscope session. Today we will be going over loops. So the definition of a loop is a repeating system in Java that allows you to perform actions provided with or without a condition. And they're typically useful when you want to repeat an action or an operation. So for example, if you're given the variable a and you wanted to add a certain numerical value to that variable, then you would use a loop. And the three types of loops that we will be going over today is first we will be going over for loops, the second while loops, and finally do while loops. So as you can see here, this is an example of a for loop, and there are three parts to a for loop. And basically the first part is initialization, which you basically initialize a variable, and in this case you initialize x to 0. The second part of a for loop is a condition, which must be a mathematical operation involving integers. So it could be I is less than 10, or in this case, x is less than 100. And it's basically going to test this condition given, first you're going to initialize it, obviously, and then you're going to test if this condition is met. Then we will keep on executing these statements, and we're going to increment each time until basically it runs out or this condition is not met. The third part is incrementation and decrementation, so it adds or subtracts to the integer, the variable, and usually it's incrementing by 1, but you do have the option of incrementing by numbers other than 1. So let's say if you wanted to add 5 each time, you wanted to increment 5 each time, then you would do x plus equals 5. So the point here is, in this case, they have a print line inside of the for loop, and they're going to print out the variable x each time. So it's going to print out 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to 99. And at the point 99, it's going to add 99, 1 to 99, and that will become 100. And since 100 is not less than 100, it will not print out 100. The second loop we're going to go over is the while loop. And the difference between a while loop and a for loop is that a while loop contains a single condition. And as long as this condition is true, then the compiler will continuously execute these statements until this condition is somehow not met or becomes false. So as I said before, it contains a condition such as like a is less than 10 or I is greater than or equal to 2. It's used when you have an unknown number of times that you want to loop, and it depends on the condition. So whereas in the for loop, you tend to know how much times you want to loop. For while loops, you usually use it when you do not know how much number of times you want to loop, and it really depends on the condition, whether that condition is met or not. And a while loop will loop on forever unless the condition becomes false or is somehow not met. The final loop that we're going to go over is the do while loop, and a do while loop will execute these statements inside at least once, and it's guaranteed to execute these statements once until this condition is not met. So a do while loop is similar to a while loop, but it's guaranteed to run once, and that's the fundamental difference between a do while loop and a while loop. And both the do and the while must be present. So for the do statement, it's going to be followed by brackets, whereas the while condition statement is going to be followed by a semicolon right here. And the compiler is going to go in here, execute this statement once, and it's going to go down to this while loop and check is a less than 10. In this case, it is less than 10, and it's going to execute. It's going to go back up into the do statements, and it's going to execute these until a is less than 10. So basically, a do while loop tells the compiler, do these statements while this condition is true. And until this condition is false, we're going to keep on executing this statement, and if it is false, then we're going to exit the do while loop. So that'll be it. If you want to have more practical examples, you want to see more practical examples of how these loops are used, you should check out the loops Introscope printables, and here's a link that you can click. And if you want additional practice, feel free to visit the practice page to check your understanding of loops. I'll put that link in the description. And yeah, that'll be it for loops. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you next time.